Welcome back to Editor's Roundtable on CNBC-TV18. Now, there was lots that took place this week. One thing that stood out and what we're going to talk about is PSU earnings. There have been some hits, there have been some misses this quarter. FY25, in fact, has started on a stronger note, but we've seen big rallies as well in stocks. So, Nimesh, you have some details for us?
In fact, FY25 has not started on a strong footing. In fact, the hits and the misses were more in favor of misses than in terms of hits. I was looking at the Motilal report today, and they said, for FY25, there are only 64 companies where there's been an earnings upgrade of more than 3%. On the other side, there are more than 108 companies where there's been an earning downgrades of more than 3%. So, in that sense, it was not so great. I just want to add a bit on the PSUs. It's been a mixed bag for the PSUs. I'm largely saying this because there has been so much of retail interest. I thought I'll just put some data in terms of how the PSUs have done in quarter one. First, the big misses of quarter one in terms of the PSU basket. Midani was a big underperformer in this quarter. The EBITDA margins are down 780 basis points. That's the kind of miss we've seen there. All the three OMCs have also seen a big miss in terms of EBITDA. But here I'll put in a caveat that they've all taken a hit because of the LPG subsidy, which might get reversed in the second half of this year. So not much to read into that. But RVNL, Bharat Dynamics, Railtel, BML, all have seen a bit of a mixed bag in terms of earnings. Only Railtel was a bit of an outlier as far as the EBITDA margins are concerned. Having said that, there were some outperformers as well, who've done well. Cochin Shipyard was a classic example. The EBITDA margins are up 600 basis points. So was the case with Mazgaon Dock as well. They've done relatively better in this quarter. So was HAL Hindustan Aeronautics, which was not a big disappointment. It was actually in line to slightly positive as well. But if you look at these kind of PSU stocks, on an average, where the misses have been quite higher, all the stocks have shaved off between 15 to 25% from the recent peaks. But if you look at the valuation picture, it's still very, very expensive. Look at Bharat Dynamics, it's still trading at almost 40 times, whereas the 5-year average is nearly 30 odd times. Cochin Shipyard is at 48 times even now, whereas the average has been just 14-15 times. So is Garden Reach. It's still quoting at around 31 times versus the average of 17 times. So it's been a mixed bag, in the PSU basket. But Nilesh, you've been saying about the Amar Akbar Anthony, the Anthony part of the market. We have seen so many disasters in quarter one. Is this a bit of an eye-opener for retail investors that watch out for earnings, and now they're clearly seeing cracks in many companies now?
Undoubtedly. There are many PSUs where turnover is almost flat over a 5-year period. Profits have marginally gone up, and stock prices have gone up 5x, like a 6 hit from Rohit Sharma's bet.
Yes.
For a while, it looks like it will defy gravity and go to the sky, but finally, law of gravity applies and ball does come down. Sure. So same thing will apply to this PSU stocks.
Nilesh, not only the PSUs, but I've seen a couple of even the private sector defense companies like Bharat Dynamics, MTA Technologies have reported very, very poor numbers in quarter one. Maybe there is a bit of seasonality as well, but the fact that they've rallied so hard, is this a bit of a warning sign that one need to be very careful? And in that context, the fact that so many mutual funds are launching new NFOs in the defense sector is a bit of a worry?
So mutual funds probably are launching these schemes with a much longer term time horizon. Second, you'll have to also adjust return expectation. Right. If you are having moderate return expectation with long-term time horizon, then yes, this might be the fund for you. But if you are expecting last year's performance in next 1 year, yes, I mean, clearly stay out of it. Sure. The Ukraine war is showing us that a mighty tank can be blown with just $15,000 drone. Now, if your companies are investing in futuristic defense technology, maybe it's a buy. But if you're a dinosaur making tanks, then probably there's no future. Second, you should have capacity to make and export. Yeah. If you are fully booked, I mean, there are certain companies where they are booked for next 9-10 years. Yeah. I mean, how will they grow? And finally, your market can't be just domestic. You have to go to export market, because our defense budgets are not going to grow in very high digits. It will be either high single digit or low double digit. And on top of it, there are certain things which we will have to import despite localization. So the budget available for domestic market will be fairly less, and hence go for companies which are futuristic, which are into exports, and which have capacity to deliver.
Nilesh bhai, just 2 points I wanted to address. One is politics, because given the fact that we are Teflon coated, bulletproof, and flows overcome everything. Elections are around the corner. Again, state elections. Jharkhand, Haryana, Maharashtra, J&K. Do you think in about a month and a half or so, do you think it makes a difference to the market? How closely will it be watching politics this time?
So state elections anyway don't have material impact onto the market unless until something dramatic happens. And my feeling is that as of today, market is pricing in a 5-year term for the current government, despite being a coalition government. We have seen in the past coalition government continuing to run the economy and country reasonably well. So market is pricing continuity of government and governance. If the state election results indicate otherwise, then certainly there could be some reaction from the market. But generally state elections don't necessarily change the market's trend.
Okay, well, there's no point living in the future and worrying about this. We might as well just enjoy the present and
Enjoy the weekend
for now, right? I mean, it's a long weekend for some, not for us. But in any case, weekend coming up. Thank you so much, Nilesh, for being here and taking the time out. As always, with that, it is a wrap on this edition of Editor's Roundtable. More news and updates continue on the other side.